So you're about to watch a private webinar that I recently hosted for action takers only. And I wasn't planning to release this publicly because there was so much value in this webinar. Inside, I break down the exact trading system that took me from blowing $100 accounts to making over 100K a month consistently. So if you're tired from jumping course to course, signal group to signal group, log in for the next 2 hours or so, because this might be the breakthrough that you have been waiting for. In this entire training, I'm gonna go through how to become a consistently profitable trader and make anywhere from 10K to 30K a month using a proven mechanical trading system. What this means is that I'm pretty much gonna be sharing with you everything I've learned for the past 6 years of my entire trading career. I'm gonna leave no stones unturned. I'm gonna drop all the sources possible. All right. So my goal for you today is to provide you everything you need to start your journey towards becoming a consistently profitable trader. Even if you have no prior trading experience, you have never traded live or funded accounts yet, you lost money, blown accounts or failed before, or you feel like you just don't have your trading edge yet, or you just don't know what you are missing to become profitable. I'll show you how to do all of this without gambling, guessing, or relying on bullshit signal groups. If you have ever thought, I can't stick to one strategy, I keep second guessing my trades, I make some profit and I give it all back to the market, I've been trading for a while, what am I missing? Then this workshop is gonna be the game changer for you. Because it's not about some holy grail indicator, it's not about trading more, it's not about some magic strategy, and it's definitely not about sitting at your desk all day watching candlesticks paint on your screen. It's about having a mechanical system that tells you exactly when to enter, when to exit, and how to manage risk like a professional trader. So today, here's what I'm going to cover. Why trading is the best skill to escape your 9 to 5 and create real freedom. The 3 core upgrades that you need to become profitable and scale your trading to 6 figures quickly. How to rewire your brain for discipline, focus, and long-term success in the markets. How I personally trade using market mechanics in 2025. How to manage risk and compound capital so you don't blow up accounts. How to pass funded accounts or scale a small personal account to 100K or even $1 million if that's what you want to do. Quite simply put, I'm going to provide you with as much value as humanly possible. This workshop is the real deal. This isn't just another training with a bunch of surface level advice. The trading systems and strategy that you're about to discover today are the exact same strategies that I use to personally scale my trading to more than $1 million in just 5 years. And they are also the same strategy that has allowed me to retire my parents and give them a life that I've been dreaming of my entire life. And it's also the same system that have helped 1,400 plus traders finally become consistently profitable after years of struggle and trial and error. And here's the wild part. Most of them didn't even change what they were trading. They just changed how they thought, how they executed, and follow a system that just works. So this is about mastering one proven system, not jumping to the next shiny thing. So if you stay with me for the next 90 minutes, I promise you, this will be the most valuable training you have ever seen on trading. And if you stayed with me until the very end of today's session, I've put together something called the Trading Geek Toolkit, and I'm gonna give it to you completely for free. Inside, you will find all the webinar slides, you will find my personal market mechanics trade plan, and you will also get this 2.0 self-document. And you might be wondering, what is David Goggins doing here? Don't worry, I'm gonna go into it later, right? So more on this later. So this is only for those people who stayed until the very end of the webinar itself. Now, who is this trading workshop actually for? First of all, if you are a 9 to 5 worker who knows you wouldn't build for a job, you have done everything right, you got a job, you got a degree, you got a steady income, but you wake up every single day feeling like your potential is being wasted. You don't just want more money, you want freedom, you want control, you want purpose. A way to make income that actually gives you your life back. You want to wake up, open your laptop and make your daily profit goal before most people even clock in. This workshop will show you how trading will become your escape plan. Or you are the shiny object trader, you're stuck in the loop of almost making it. 1 week is SMC, next week is ICT or order blocks, and next week is gold scalping. You have joined countless of Discords, Telegram, and your YouTube is full of trading strategies. You have put in the hours, but nothing sticks. You're overwhelmed, second guessing everything, and wondering if you're just not cut out for this. This workshop will show you how to stop chasing and lock in one proven strategy you can master for life. Or you're an unprofitable trader and it's eating you alive. You've been in the game for months, maybe even years. You've seen some wins, but they never ever last. Every step forward gets erased by one bad trade, one emotional reaction, one over-leveraged setup you knew you shouldn't have taken. You're smart, you're capable, but the results just aren't there and it's crushing your confidence. Well, this workshop will show you the missing piece to consistency and the exact process to finally trade like a professional. Or you're simply the aspiring 6 and 7 figure trader who's ready to finally go all in. You know what's possible. You've seen the consistent profits that I've been producing for the past few months. You've seen other traders pass funded challenges. And you want to scale your own capital to 100K, 500K, or even $1 million. Well, this isn't a side hustle for you anymore. It's the path to total freedom. And you're not looking for hype here. You're looking for a serious, rule-based trading system that can actually take you there. And this workshop will show you how I scaled my own trading past $1 million and how you can do the same. Now, whatever stage you are at right now, this isn't about hype, luck, or hoping the next trade is the one that will finally break you out of poverty. This is about mastering one mechanical trading system. So you can trade confidently, consistently, profitably, and with a total peace of mind. But before we start, here's some house rules for today's webinar. First of all, this is not a get-rich-quick scheme. This is not a magic button you click to make money overnight. And this is not for people looking to cut corners, chase signals, or trade without doing the work. The results you will see today, mine and my students, are not typical. They come from real traders who showed up every single day, put in the reps, and stayed disciplined throughout. So your results will depend entirely on your effort, mindset, and commitment. So I want you to be present and focused, right? This is not a time to multitask, scroll TikTok, or reply to emails. You showed up here for a reason. So give this your fullest attention. Because one insight today could change your entire trading career. So mute your notifications, close all your tabs, take notes, be here right now with me. Because if you can't stay focused for 90 minutes, how the hell will you stay disciplined in the markets? Now, I'm not going to promise you to make 10K this weekend. If you thought that, you can leave right now and we'll refund you the ticket. But if you're willing to learn a real system, put in the work, and treat trading like a business, a real high-income skill, not a slot machine that you can pull every single day, then this will be the most valuable training you will ever attend in your entire life. A new way of thinking about trading that puts you back in control, allowing you to finally become consistently profitable instead of riding the emotional roller coaster of highs and lows and never actually making real progress. Let's be brutally honest for a second. The world is not the same as it was 5 years ago, and it will never ever be the same again. AI is replacing jobs. Companies are slashing payroll. Entire careers are becoming obsolete overnight. The middle class is being squeezed into extinction. And the people who rely on safe jobs, thinking they have time, they're the ones who are going to get hit the hardest. You can't outwork this, you can't outsave this, you can only outskill this. And the scary part is that most people won't see it until it's too late. They will hold on to their job thinking that it's stable until it's not. They will hope inflation cools down while rent, groceries, and gas climb higher. They will try to save their way out of a broken system while the cost of living keeps rising, currencies deflates, and their buying power pretty much disappears. If you're relying on a paycheck in this economy, you are one news event away from being in real trouble. Now, good news is, in every crisis, there's a hidden window of opportunity. We are experiencing one of the greatest financial shifts in the history of the world right now. During chaos, new players rise. While the world clings to outdated rules, the 1% adapts, pivots, and builds leverage. And the smartest people right now, well, they are the guys learning skills that give them freedom and autonomy over their life. Skills that don't rely on a job. Skills that scale without more effort. Skills that can produce income daily. That's why the financial markets are exploding right now. Let me break it down for you. Here's why trading is the best opportunity right now. You don't need a team, a product, or even a business. You can start with a laptop, Wi-Fi, and skill. You can work from anywhere in the world. You control your time, income, and growth in all areas. And most importantly, no 10-year grind to build a business or a career. Just one skill, one system, You can extract money from the markets and live life on your own terms. And there's never been a better time to go all in on trading because we are in the middle of the biggest opportunity window trading has ever seen. The world is not just changing, it's transforming. If you haven't already noticed, the 9 to 5 is dying. Slowly, quietly. 53 million plus Americans now freelance. That's over 34% of the US workforce alone. And by the end of this decade, the number is projected to cross 50% plus. Traditional jobs, they're becoming harder to find, harder to keep, and increasingly less secure. AI is here, and it's replacing jobs faster than governments can react. If you are relying on your job to stay the same and fund your lifestyle over the next 1 to 3 years, the truth is you're playing Russian roulette with your future. But while the old world burns, a new one is being built. And trading is at the heart of it. Why? Because trading doesn't care about degrees, resumes, or where you live. It only cares about skill that anyone can learn if they commit. Trading is one of the last true opportunities to secure your freedom. Because in trading, you don't get paid for how hard you work. You get paid for how well you decide. You're rewarded for your skill, not your job title. You can work from anywhere with a laptop and internet, and you can build capital independently without begging for promotions, bosses, or clients. And it's not just hype, right? Retail trading volume has exploded. It's doubled since 2020 alone. Now, this isn't a trend. It's a permanent shift. But here's the thing, while millions are panicking over being replaced and worrying about the economy, traders are mastering a high-income skill that scales, automates, and compound over time. They don't fear AI, they profit from it. Volatility is high. Funding capital has never been easier to get, and capital is flowing to traders who know what they are doing. The prop firm trading forex market industry is estimated to exceed $14.5 billion. Prop firms are literally handing people $100K to $1 million plus accounts, but only if you can prove that you can trade profitably. And that's exactly what you're going to learn today. I just want you to picture your life 12 months from today. You wake up in your dream environment. It could be Dubai, it could be London, it could be New York. You check your charts, you see a high probability trade setup. You profit 10K on the day itself. Done for the day before most people start their daily commute. Your accounts are growing, you're stacking profits with confidence, and you have complete freedom and control over your income and lifestyle. That's not a fantasy. That's what happens when you stop gambling and you start trading mechanically. At the end of this training, you are most likely going to be equipped with everything you need to actually live this life right here. Okay? So I want to assure you that this is not a dream. It's just a snapshot of your future. Let me share with you my story and trading journey. Now, this is gonna get a little bit emotional. While I was creating the slides, I was actually looking back at how far I've came throughout my entire life. I'm very grateful for where I am today. A lot of people ask me like, why am I working so hard even though I've made it? And quite simply put, the truth is, I don't ever want to go back to where I came from, right? So this is my upbringing, this is my origin story. I grew up with nothing, no money, no connections, no safety nets. Growing up, I wore secondhand clothes worn by my relative and pretended that they were new, because that's all we could afford. While other kids were getting their haircuts at salons, my mom was actually trimming mine in the kitchen just to save $5. That's how tight things were back then. Back then, we couldn't even afford to eat out. McDonald's wasn't a regular meal. It was a luxury to me. I remember being so happy whenever my mom buys a Happy Meal and I get like that little toy. And it might be like a basic thing for other people, but to me, it was luxury. It's something that we could only get on birthday or if my parents could stretch the budget for that month itself. And when I say broke, I mean broke. This was where my mom grew up, in a tiny rural village with no clean water and electricity. She married my dad and moved to Singapore, chasing the dream of a better life. But reality hit hard. Even in a new country, we had to pinch pennies just to get by. A better life didn't come easy. It came with sacrifice. My dad had to sacrifice everything just to keep us afloat. He worked odd jobs his entire life. He worked as a housekeeper at a hotel. He worked as a masseuse. He worked as a watch repairman. He worked as a cleaner even. Whatever he could get, just so that we could eat. Now, that sacrifice became my fuel. I knew that I couldn't waste what I gave up everything for. But I didn't want to follow the same path, working paycheck to paycheck and just barely getting by. So 6 years ago, I made a conscious decision to become the first millionaire in my bloodline. So for the longest time, you can see this was my entire setup. right? Back then I was starting, and I was also like starting trading at the side. And if you look at this little drawing that I've drawn up, let's zoom in. It says that I want to acquire $1 million by the age of 30. That was my goal back then, right? 6 years ago when I actually set out on my trading journey. And back then I had no roadmap, no mentor, no connections, absolutely no clue where to start. But I knew one thing for sure. I needed to make money. So at the age of 17 years old, I started working the only job I could qualify for as a waiter, earning $7 an hour. So I would go to school during the day, and then I would head straight to work after that. And every single night, I'll take the subway home at 12 a.m. My eyes are always very heavy. I smell like shit. My feet aches. And I just kept wondering if this was all going to be worth it. Because back then I was making $7 an hour, and I literally did the math. Okay, if I'm earning $7 an hour, how long is it going to take for me to reach $1 million? And the truth is, it's pretty damn long. I don't think it's possible. I don't know. But yeah, for me, I felt like that goal was super duper far away. And I wasn't just working for survival. I was saving every dollar to buy books, fund a trading account, and build a way out. Right? Like back then, I was literally so broke that I couldn't even buy a book for like $10, even $20. I had to go to second-hand bookstores just to go and buy used books for like $7. I would also go to the library and just borrow like lots of books to like just soak up the knowledge. At 18, I was working a 9-to-5 job at a real estate company. So I was actually earning $500 a month back then. And trust me when I say that, I hated every minute of it. I hated waking up at 5 a.m. just to cram onto a packed train. I hated the fake small talk and the pointless meetings. I hated staring at spreadsheets I didn't care about. I hated listening to people talking about promotions and pensions like that was the peak of their life. But most of all, I hated how trapped I felt. Trapped in a tiny little cubicle, under fluorescent lights, working 9 hours a day for a paycheck that barely covered food. So while everyone else was on their lunch breaks, I locked myself in an empty office pod and I started day trading. When I got home from work, I didn't rest. Even after a full day at the office, drained, burnout, eyes could barely open, I still started trading until 12 a.m. It didn't matter how tired I was. No Netflix, no gaming, no distractions, just me, my screen, and the charts. Our backtest setups, I would journal my thoughts, I'll review my trades every single night. And I didn't get into this monk mode for like 1 week or 1 month. I did it for 6 months straight, and I started seeing some results. Right, I actually turned $500 into $8,000 in just 1 week. That is the first time I realized that trading is not real. Like, it's absolutely mind-boggling to be making this amount of money in such a short amount of time when you are earning $650 a month or $500 a month. And then I lost it all in one trade, of course. It was not because the strategy didn't work, but because I wasn't ready mentally, and more on that later. Just when I thought life couldn't get any worse. At the age of 19, I got enlisted into the military as an infantry trooper earning $700 a month. This meant that I'll be stuck in the military barracks from Monday to Friday for the next 2 years. During those 2 years, I went through intense military training, physically and mentally pushed to the limits, because I was actually equipped with the machine gun, which is one of the heaviest weapon in the entire platoon. And I'm a small guy. I'm not a big guy, right? So yeah, it was intense. It was very, very tough. It built a lot of mental toughness. It allowed me to arm up my mind. Yeah, I got deployed to countries like Brunei and Malaysia for overseas exercises and operations, often in harsh conditions with no access to a phone, let alone a trading chart. And if you look at this photo, I'm somewhere around here. Like, you probably can't see me because I'm like quite small, somewhere around there. And it felt like I had been put 1,000 miles away from the dream that I was chasing. You know, I'm trying to be like a full-time trader with the freedom to be able to travel wherever I want, whenever I want. But I'm stuck in the goddamn military barracks from Monday to Friday. But deep down, I knew that this chapter was shaping me for something bigger. So while other soldiers scrolled through social media or nap in the barracks, I traded on my live account. And if you have ever wondered why I always had this hood in my old videos, it was because I was bald and I was trying to hide it. And now I wasn't just placing trades. I was planning how to scale this to 7 figures. I was mapping out my systems, refining my strategy, and visualizing the day that I will break free for good. I forgot who is it who said this, but he who has a strong why can bear almost any how. Every late night, every sacrifice, every setback it all made sense because I knew what I was fighting for. Because I knew if I could master trading, I could free my family forever. It was never about Lambos. It was never about flexing Rolexes on Instagram. It was never about popping champagnes in a club. It was about retiring my father, the man who gave up everything so that I could have a shot. And I wasn't going to stop until I made that happen. For the longest time, I kept this photo of my dad as my iPhone wallpaper to remind myself to keep going, especially when things get tough. He never made much, but he gave everything. Even at 63, while others were retiring, he was still working just to put food on the table for me and my sister. So I made a promise to myself, when I make it, he will never work another day in his life. Now, I wish I could say I figured it out quickly and retire him the next day, but I didn't. For years, I was stuck in this cycle where I was blowing accounts after accounts. I was forcing trades out of boredom and fear of missing out. I was copying strategies from random Instagram gurus. And I was trading on emotion, not logic. Basically gambling. And I was stuck in a loop of hope and self-destruction. Every single time I thought that I had it, the market slapped me in the face. And I was overwhelmed with losses after losses. Whenever I put up MetaTrader fall, it will always be red, just like what you can see on the screen right now. And after blowing my 10th account, I hit my breaking point. I told myself that enough was enough. I was tired of losing. I was tired of hoping. I was tired of lying to myself. So I made a decision. Because remember, nothing changes if nothing changes. I stopped gambling. I stopped guessing. And I finally started treating trading like a profession. That's when everything shifted. I studied how the market actually works. I built a mechanical trading system with simple, proven, repeatable rules. I mastered risk management and journaling to stay emotionally neutral. I follow a daily routine to stay consistent and disciplined. And that's when I finally became consistently profitable. And I went from having $100 wins to $1,000 wins to $10,000 wins and now even $100,000 wins. Small wins stacked every single day. Same system, repeated with discipline. Confidence grew, capital scaled, and results multiplied over time. And there's this famous quote by Usain Bolt where he said, I trained 4 years to run 9 seconds. I tweaked this to fit my life. I traded 5 years to make 102K in 30 minutes. I love this quote, which says that you are rewarded in public for the work you have done in private. For all the live trades that you've seen on my second channel of me making 50K, 30K, 100K even, what you don't see is the hours and hours of backtesting, the late nights starting causes upon causes, the early mornings where I felt so frustrated, where I just couldn't figure a way out. I couldn't figure how the market actually works, and my stop loss just keep on getting triggered over and over again. And there was literally at a point of time where I couldn't even pay the bills. I was devastated. I wanted to quit, but I kept going. Just back to this graph right here, right? This is an exponential curve, and I believe this is how your equity curve will actually looks like. You can see, trading is not a linear graph. It's an exponential graph. And most traders give up right here. Right, when you start working towards your goals, you are trying to be this higher version of yourself, you're trying to become consistently profitable, it's extremely difficult and the least rewarding since you are not seeing any results, right? And then you end up quitting over here. When in reality, you are one trade away from becoming successful. You are one trade away from hitting that exponential growth in your journey. So like I said, I didn't quit. While others gave up, I kept going. Through every blown account, every loss, every late night. Because deep down, I believed that I could be part of the 1% who actually beat the odds in trading. And eventually, I did. I went from a broke and depressed losing trader to making my first $1 million by the age of 21 years old. Bear in mind, if you recall the picture that I showed you just now, the goal was to make my first million by 30. And I did it 10 times faster. By the age of 21 years old. That mechanical system changed everything. I became a full-time professional trader and scaled to 7 figures. I built a YouTube channel with over 1.23 million subscribers. I retired my father before I turned 22. I gave my mom everything she used to pray for in silence. And I founded a global community of 1,400 plus traders changing their life. Today, I'm a full-time trader living life on my own terms and help others escape the exact same pain that I went through. But I will never forget what it felt like to be broke, to feel lost, to want freedom so badly it hurts. I built everything from scratch. No rich parents, no shortcuts, no inheritance, just relentless obsession, unbreakable discipline, and one simple rule-based system. Now it's your turn. You don't need to figure this out alone. You don't need to stay stuck. You definitely don't need to suffer like I did. This is your shortcut to your path to profitability. So now you might be thinking, okay, Brad, that's cool for you, but will this actually work for me? Totally fair question. I get it. And that's why I want to show you this. Because this isn't about my results anymore. This is a movement. A wave of 1% traders is rising. Everyday people with jobs, families, and responsibilities who decided to stop guessing and go all in on trading. They committed to a proven system, stayed consistent, and became profitable for life. So I want you to meet Syed Sriti, one of our top students inside the 1% Club. Before joining the 1% Club, he was struggling for 2 years with trading. He's constantly borrowing accounts and losing hard-earned money, following random internet advice and fake gurus that led to more confusion and frustration. He had no structured roadmap, no real mentorship, and no confidence in his chart analysis. And he was working full-time, juggling family responsibilities and unsure if trading would ever work. And he felt lost. He felt overwhelmed and he was on the verge of giving up. This was Syed's first post inside the 1% Club. Just 1 year ago. You can see the date right here, March 2024. He had asked about some advice about which broker to use and which platform. And he joined the 1% Club with one mission. And that is to turn his 10K account into 100K. And I've just been keeping him accountable for the past few months or so. In just 3 months, he made over 41.6K using our proven mechanical trading system. Not $1,000, not $2,000, but $41,000. And you can see, he literally shared with me his progress throughout the entire journey. And Syed is now consistently hitting high R trades every single day, and he's well on his way to hitting that 100K goal. After joining the 1% Club, he has built a mechanical trade plan with clear, proven rules, started executing high R trades with sniper precision, gained complete clarity and confidence in analyzing the charts, and became one of the most active leaders in the community. And he's helping beginner traders every single day right now. And he's on track to scale his 10K account to 100K with consistent growth. No more second guessing, just structural, discipline, and results. Before you think, oh, Syed is an outlier, let me just introduce you to another one of our students. Before joining the 1% Club, he was working full-time as a real estate agent, unsure if trading would ever work out. He was blindly following signal providers and blew in savings, and he had no understanding of how the markets actually worked. He lost 5,000 pounds in a single trade due to poor risk management and over-leveraging. And he was constantly doubting himself and felt uncomfortable trading. And once again, this was Amir's first post inside the 1% Club. Right there. Now, he told me that his goal was to quit his job and become a full-time trader, back when we actually had the Dubai Mastermind event a few months ago. And after learning about my market mechanics strategy, he became a master at scalping gold. And his best record was banking 20,000 pounds in less than 48 hours. Not even in USD, pounds. 20,000 pounds. In just 4 months, he made over $50,000 using our proven mechanical trading system. This was at the end of 2024 last year. And let's just say that he got a pretty huge Christmas present when he actually withdrew the profits that he made. So after joining the 1% Club, he started trading with conviction instead of emotion. And he finally understood how to catch high probability trades. He built real confidence. He stopped relying on signals and trade independently. And he created live coaching course and trading session for fast growth. And he's on track to quit his real estate job and go full-time as a professional trader. Now, these are just a few of the 1,400 plus students we have inside the 1% Club. We've built something powerful here. A community of outliers striving to be 1% better every single day. Real traders, real results, real support. Inside, people don't just get wins. They celebrate wins together. You can see these are our community posts where Kevin made thousands of dollars on his crypto trade. And then you can see the members are just cheering him up, right? Just hyping him up. You can see somebody as well, right? Made over 26K. Once again, everybody is like a family here. Everybody is trying to lift each other up because we are all aligned to having like the same goal, right? We are all trying to be profitable six-figure traders. So when we actually work together, we get there much faster. They show up to our coaching course every single day fired up. They travel across the world to our in-person meetups and mastermind events. And they are trading with a system. They are actually becoming who they were meant to be. So you have seen what is done for them, right? Now it's just a matter of, are you ready to become a part of the 1%? Most people think that trading success means 10 monitors, 75 indicators, or chugging caffeine, glued to the screen from market open to market close. Random signals from Telegram groups, hoping and praying the market magically go into your way. It's basically glorified gambling. This is not trading. This is noise, distraction, disappointment waiting to happen. Profitable trading success looks very different. We got one clean chart, maybe two, for a higher time frame perspective. We got a simple rule-based mechanical system that you can trust, and we got daily preparation, trade journaling, reviewing data, and having like a tight feedback loop. 60 to 90 minutes of focused execution per day. Walk away, done. It's boring, it's quiet, it's methodical, and it's extremely profitable because it's not about catching every move. It's about catching the right ones with confidence, consistency, and control. Having a clear mechanical system, mastering your mindset and emotional discipline, managing risks like a professional, and scaling accounts the smart way. The truth is, it's about doing less, not more. It's about focusing on one thing, not 20. This is how the top 1% traders actually win. Going from a losing retail gambler to a profitable millionaire trader isn't about doing more. It's about doing the right things. It's about making 3 core upgrades. Master this and everything changes. There are only 3 things you need to become wildly profitable at trading. Core upgrade number 1 is a new paradigm and identity shift. And that is becoming the profitable trader. Core upgrade number 2 is a mechanical trading system. It's to completely eliminate emotion-based trading. And core upgrade number 3 is capital and risk management. It's about minimizing losses and multiplying profits. Now let's go into each core upgrade in detail. Let's go to the first one. What do I mean by having like a new paradigm and identity shift? So you might be wondering, Brad, what does this have to do with trading? Now, have you ever wondered how I went from like a poor kid in Singapore, too broke to even buy new clothes, to seemingly out of nowhere, becoming a multi-millionaire, 8-figure net worth, and changing the rules of the game for the trading industry? And out of nowhere again, helping record numbers of others achieve what's considered impossible in trading. So, how did I really do it? I transcended myself. What does this mean? Well, I realized in trading, the biggest obstacle to my success was myself. I was my own worst enemy. Here's some of my personal struggles. I used to think that trading psychology is not important because a profitable trading strategy with 100% win rate is all you need to become successful at trading. And I had this perspective until I had lost over $10,000 in a day because I was over trading, revenge trading, and over leveraging. And since young, I've always thought that the only way to build wealth and get rich is by pinching pennies and saving money until you're 65, and then retire using what you have saved up. Then I started seeing bloody 20-year-old millionaires on Instagram, and I realized that money is actually abundant. And I used to see myself as a skinny guy who cannot gain weight no matter how much I ate. And this perspective caused me to not exercise and not eating enough to gain muscle. What's the point if I'm never gonna get big? This changed until I saw transformation stories of people who are skinnier than me becoming Greek gods. I tried to fix the problem by learning more technicals, but it didn't work. It didn't matter how much effort I put in, hours on the charts itself, right? I was starting, I was learning, I was still spinning my tires, unprofitable and nothing to show for it whatsoever. And this had plagued my existence for years, and I didn't know what it was until I had met the enemy face to face. And the enemy was me. Yes, this workshop is about mastering the mechanical trading system to become a profitable trader. But after witnessing 1,400 plus traders become wildly profitable and successful in a relatively short time, I've realized this one profound truth. Most traders, they don't lose because of bad strategies. They lose because they haven't become the trader capable of executing them. I'm not the same person I was before, and neither will you. Who you are right now is not who is capable or who you will be when you actually achieve your goals. That is why I don't agree with this oh, be yourself philosophy that the society is trying to invoke upon you. If being yourself is the right way to go, you have already been living your dream life. But the truth is, you're not living your dream life by being yourself. So don't be yourself. You need to transcend to the higher version of yourself. Because trading success is about 90% paradigm and identity and 10% strategy. Most traders think that they need the perfect strategy, right? So they keep learning more technicals, more strategies, more concepts. But the truth is, even the best system will fail in the hands of the trader with a flawed paradigm. That's why this first upgrade is not about technicals, it's not about strategy, it's about you. If you're not yet where you want to be with trading, it's not your fault. You're probably stuck operating from a version of yourself that was never designed to succeed at this level of trading. You need to upgrade your paradigm and self-identity. So what is a paradigm? Paradigm is basically how you perceive reality and the world. It's how you see things. It's the perception that you have of reality. It's a lens, a point of view, a perspective. Because humans perceive and see reality and the world through their paradigms. And your paradigm is basically a combination of the following: assumptions, beliefs, convictions, principles, ideas, ideologies, views, understandings, theories, knowledge, faith, models, hypotheses, guesses, stances, positions, axioms. So let's map it out so we can see how your current situation in life is a direct result of how you perceive life. So if you look at your life right now, it is simply the sum of all the actions that you have taken so far. And that is the sum of all the decisions that you have made, subconsciously or consciously. And all the decisions that you have ever made are a result of all the options that you have ever perceived. And that is the sum of all the thoughts that you ever had. And all the thoughts you ever had stem from your paradigm. Therefore, your paradigm determines the results that you get in life. So, a paradigm is how you see reality. And how you see reality determines how you act. And how you act determines what you get in life. So let's talk about paradigm shift next, right? If you recall what I've shared with you just now about my personal struggles, you can see these highlighted parts right here. These represent what we call a paradigm shift. It's when you learn about new information that challenges your current perception of something. Paradigm shifts are like the eureka moment or light bulb moment that changes everything and allow you to move forward in life and in trading. They are integral turning points that help us grow and shed our old false paradigms. So let me give you an example real quick. Look at this elephant right here. There was this time where 6 different people, they decided to put a blindfold on, right? And then each of them were positioned at a different part of the elephant, right? You can see this guy was positioned right here, this guy is positioned right here, and they were told to touch that particular part that they are positioned at. So since they are blindfolded, right, they have no idea that this is actually an elephant. So when this guy actually touch it, he feel something that is hard, like a block, like a concrete block. So he says that it's a wall. And when this guy try to grab whatever that that's moving in front of him right now, he realized that it's long and it's leathery. And he realized that, okay, maybe it's a rope. And this person right here, he's hugging the trunk of the elephant. And because he doesn't know that it's an elephant, he thought that it's a tree. And then this one thought it's a snake, this one thought it's a spear because of the elephant tusk. And this one who's on top of the elephant, touching the elephant's ears, thought that it's a fan. They have developed 6 totally inaccurate paradigms as to what an elephant is. And they all believe they are right since what these men experience, right? They don't know that it's an elephant, right? Because whatever they experience, that's their reality. And this is a major problem. Because how we see something determines how we act on it. To further illustrate how harmful false paradigms are, let's use a simple example related to trading. Using stop loss when trading will only cause you to lose more money. Okay, so let's say today there's 3 traders. Trader A, Trader B, Trader C. Trader A thinks that stop losses are annoying. They cause me to lose a lot of money since I keep getting stopped out when trading. You know what? Since it's not working, I'm just not going to use them at all. Trader B says that stop losses can be really annoying, but they improve the chances of me becoming a consistently profitable trader since they do help to avoid big losses. So I'm just going to use them sometimes, when trades go in my way. While Trader C says that stop losses are extremely important and they are non-negotiable, because they protect my downside, and this allows me to keep my risk consistent and reduce my losses, which in turn allow me to be a disciplined and profitable trader. I must use them every time I trade. Who do you think will be the one who make the most amount of money in the long run? Obviously, Trader C. Now, once again, just to show you what the paradigm thing actually looks like on this particular belief. Paradigm is thinking that stop loss is essential. Since you think that stop loss is essential and you know that stop losses are good, that leads to you, deciding that stop losses are actually the correct way to go about it. That makes you actually start using a stop loss on every single trade that you take. And this means less losses and more profits. Once again, you can see, just by having the belief that stop losses are actually good for you, you actually end up making more money. That is why I say that your paradigm directly dictates your reality. Having the paradigm that stop losses are not necessary in trading is similar to walking up to an elephant blindfolded, stroking its leg and thinking that an elephant is a tree. And this applies to everything in trading, right? Market mechanics concepts, trading the news, risk per trade, journaling, etc. And also in life, right? Relationships, health, and wealth. Why do so many traders get different results? Why do some traders make 50K a month after 1 year, while others grind for 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, and still can't even clear $500 in profit? It's not about the strategy. It's because how you see trading shapes how you show up. Perception equals reality. If your mind is wired like a gambler, you will trade like one. So you need to change how you see the game, and the results will follow as a byproduct of that. Quite simply put, your paradigm is the lens you use to interpret reality. It's basically your subconscious mental blueprint that dictates what you see, how you feel, and what you do. And most traders, they never question the lens they are actually using. They just assume that the market is volatile, smart money is just that good, when in reality, the paradigm is just outdated. Who you are right now will never create the results you desire, because you're trying to achieve 6, 7-figure trading results while operating with 4-figure trading habits, belief, and paradigm. And this was me back then. Broke, emotional, limiting belief, scarcity thinking, because I grew up poor. And now I'm focused, calm, disciplined, and abundance flows into my life. Not because of some strategy, but because I made the shift internally. If you still can't get this through that thick skull of yours, I can show you the best strategy later on, but you won't have the patience to execute it. You will make some money here and there, and then you will end up self-sabotaging yourself because you haven't made the shift internally. My biggest breakthrough in trading always came from paradigm shift. A major paradigm shift was when I switched from trading retail concepts to market mechanics concepts. It's not about faking it until you make it. It's about becoming it right now. You need to embody the profitable trader identity before the results actually show up. It sounds counterintuitive, because it is, but this is just how it works. How do we actually have this paradigm shift? First of all, you start off by perceiving reality in a certain way. That is your current paradigm. And then you probably stumble upon some sort of new information in your immediate environment that actually challenges your current perception through things like your social media or news, newspaper, news outlets, friends even, family, teachers and authority figures, politicians, etc., etc. Now, at this point of time, you have two options. First is you reject the new information. If you reject the new information, then your perception of reality stays the same, right? And the same paradigm leads to the same actions, which results in the same exact situation. Meaning, you remain where you are in life, nothing changes. Right? That's the first option. You reject the new information. However, the second option is, what if you accept the new information? When you accept the new information, your perception of reality changes, leading to a paradigm shift, right? So you get a new perception of reality, you look at things differently now. And when you get this new paradigm, it leads to a new set of actions, and this gives you a different situation, a new situation, and your life changes. Here's the flawed paradigm that is holding most traders back. I've coached thousands of traders by now, and I've noticed a series of patterns and flaws in the paradigm of an average trader that holds them back from success. I used to have them as well, right? But I've spent the last 6 years getting rid of them. And the reason why I am where I am today is because I became aware of them and corrected them. And these are the 6 paradigm flaws, right? First of all, it's obviously not being aware of what paradigms are. If you're not aware of that in the first place, you're just going to be staying stuck in live trading and getting the same results over and over again. Or another one is setting the wrong goals. If you're setting the wrong goals, obviously you're not going to hit them. And most of them, you guys don't even know, but you guys have actually limiting belief that has been conditioned into you throughout your upbringing, throughout your childhood, and that actually lead you to self-sabotaging yourself. And also running away from pain, right? This is the big one, right? Because as humans, we are conditioned to avoid pain. And if you're trying to avoid pain all the time, it's impossible to actually improve your trading performance. Because sometimes you need to look at your losses right in the eye and actually learn from them. And that means going towards pain. And also, you don't have a real sense of higher self. And if you don't have a real sense of higher self, you're not going to become the person that you want to become. And if you can correct these 5 things, you will master your mindset and you will start making more money in trading than you can possibly imagine. If you don't upgrade your identity, no strategy will save you. And the biggest paradigm shift you can have is to realize the fact that you can change your paradigm. You can design it however you want. And once you make the shift, trading starts feeling different and you actually get different results. You're not chasing dopamine, you're not overanalyzing, you become calm, focused, intentional, a sniper. And you have to upgrade your paradigm, your internal operating system. And that starts with environment, mentorship, and identity. And this is really what your internal operating systems looks like. It all starts with your identity, right? Who you think you are, your self-worth, your self-identity. And then it led to your belief, right? Because who you are right now, you have certain beliefs that are either holding you back from success or actually pushing you towards one step closer towards success. And then that leads to actions, right? Because your actions are tied to what you actually believe. And then whatever you actually do on a daily basis, it determines what results you actually get, right? And like I said, that determines how your life actually go. And most traders try to change their actions alone. But actions, they are driven by belief. And belief are rooted in your identity, right? So if you look at this internal operating system, it all starts from your identity. You can't out-trade a flawed paradigm. That is why this first upgrade is all about reprogramming your mind from the inside out. And the biggest thing standing in your way is your perception of yourself. Just let me know down in the chat if any of this resonates with you. You risk too much money when you are emotional. You close out trades when you're in a bit of drawdown. You fear pulling the trigger on trades. You hesitate and you miss A+ setups. You second guess yourself constantly. You self-sabotage when you finally start winning. Now, I don't know about you, but I faced all of this when I started. In my first 3 years of trading, these are the stuff that I kept doing over and over again. And one big loss often wipes out the whole week or month's profits. And that's not a market issue. That's an identity issue. And until that changes, no amount of indicators, signals, or strategy, or trading guru, or podcast will ever fix it. Because right now, you're trying to become profitable and achieve your dreams as this person right here, this identity right here. And this will only end in self-sabotage and getting the same results over and over again. So you becoming your new identity, the person who's actually capable of becoming a profitable trader and achieving your dreams, that's the way to go, right? Because this is you right now, right? The unprofitable trader. You're emotion driven, you overtrade due to fear of missing out, you blow accounts, you're undisciplined in your personal life, and you overtrade and you over leverage. And you treat trading like a hobby, like a get rich quick scheme. And here's the person that you want to transcend to, the 1% trader, the new you, the person who's extremely mechanical and rule-based, and he waits for high probability setups. He compounds his accounts and profits. And he's disciplined in all areas of life. physically, mentally, financially, spiritually. And he follows the plan and he manages risk. And he trades like a business to build wealth. That's who you need to become. Now, these two traders, they're trading the same market. We all look at the same chart, the same price action, but they get completely different outcomes because they're operating from different identities. So I want you to decide now, what trader do you want to become? The new you or remain as the old you? If you remain as the old you, you're going to keep doing the same thing over and over again, and you're going to get the same result over and over again, which is extremely miserable. However, if you do transcend to the new you, that is where you can actually start by adjusting your belief, your actions, and then you will actually become consistently profitable. Now, how do you become this new identity then? Well, I have this entire self-transcendence journal that I personally use to actually allow myself to transcend, right? This is something that I go through over and over again every single day so that I can actually start shaping my belief and my identity. So this is going to be part of the Trading Geek toolkit that I'm going to giving to you at the end of the webinar itself, right? Like I said, it contains all the workshop slides, contains notes of everything that we have discussed today, and I'm also going to include this Alchemy of Self journal for you, right? This is like a 10-page document where it will allow you to actually look at exactly how I pretty much shifted my entire identity and become like a new version of myself. And to some of you, this might sound like some woo-woo type stuff, right? But it honestly changed my life and my students' life like nothing I have ever seen. Like if you look at one of our students right here, he went through this self-transcendence course module and he said that it is a mind-blowing module. And like I said, 90% psychology, right? Insightful module. And then if you look at what Marcel said right here, he realized that the biggest enemy is himself, and he felt the desire to become a much better self. And he realized that once the biggest enemy is gone, nothing will stand in the way of him actually becoming successful. And then Nicola right here as well, he went through the course module and he mentioned that, he wasted a lot of time and energy unconsciously with unnecessary emotions, beliefs, doubts, and paradigms that put me in a state of a brokey. And now, he's making a change for himself. And yeah, this module changed his life. Once again, like what Ivan said right here, just by going through this module itself, he became much more disciplined and motivated than he has ever been. And that's why the next upgrade is so powerful. Because once you have upgraded your identity and you become the person that you need to be a profitable trader, you now need a mechanical system that's as disciplined as you now are. All right, so let's go to core upgrade number 2. Mechanical trading system so that you can eliminate emotion-based trading. Most traders trade based off emotion. Most traders are inconsistent. Most traders are guessing. And that's exactly why most traders are unprofitable. They will say that they have a strategy, but when you ask them how they enter, how they exit, and how they manage risk, their answer changes every week. I'm entering based on ICT turtle soup strategy. I'm entering based on the Bermuda Triangle strategy. They tweak indicators after every loss. They hop between supply and demand, trend lines, or random YouTube concepts. Their confidence isn't based on logic, it's based on their last trade. That's not a system, bro. That's survival mode. Here's why there's a problem. Because in trading, if you can't replicate it, you can't scale it. If you don't have a clear mechanical process, you will always overthink your entries, let emotions dictate your decisions, exit too early or too late, doubt yourself after every loss, miss winning setups due to hesitation, spiral into over trading, revenge trading, and blowing accounts. Now, let me just give you like a quick example, or rather a quick anecdote of like what actually goes through your mind when you are live trading as a retail trader. So let's say you enter for a sell position right now, right? Because you've done your analysis and price seems bearish and overbought. A few minutes later, you start seeing this huge bullish candlestick signaling that the trade is going against you. Your brain registers this as a threat to your winning trade. And when this happens, your brain will create a rush of hormones which produces the impulse for you to close the trade early. One candle moving against you and you start panicking as though you are going up on stage to speak to 1 million people. You worry that you're about to lose your hard-earned money and this fear causes you to close your trade early. And 1 hour later, you open up the charts, you saw price ended up going in your way and you start regretting getting out early. oh my God, I should have held onto the trade. I could have made $1,000 if I didn't get out early. Now you start thinking that the market is against you somehow, and maybe trading isn't for you. Maybe you should just go back to working at McDonald's, right? At least they provide you with a fixed paycheck. Here's what you need to do instead. Use a mechanical trading system, a rule-based trade plan that remove emotion from the equation. The right trading system should tell you exactly when to enter, have fixed stop loss and take profit levels with predefined risk to reward, remove guesswork completely so you execute like a machine. In other words, you don't make decisions. Your system does it for you. So I want you to think of trading like an algorithm, right? You just have to do your markups, right? You do your analysis, you do your research, you plan out your trade ideal, and if you see something that lines up with your trade plan, you execute without hesitation, reservation, or fear. If it does not check off all the boxes in your trade plan, you do nothing. And this might sound so simple, right? But this is where so many traders mess up. They just can't do nothing. They get itchy fingers, they start taking trades even though there's no opportunity, they start over trading, they start doing all this stupid shit, and they end up wondering, why are they not profitable? Bro, how are you going to become profitable if you are not disciplined, you are not following your trade plan, you're not trading like an algorithm? So what you do need is something that is simple, scalable, and repeatable. Now, let me show you exactly how I trade step by step. This is a simple mechanical trade plan that anyone can follow. Clear rules, zero guesswork, and let's break it down on TradingView. Okay, so over here, this is the entire trade process, right? And I just break it down to 5 simple steps that you need to follow from top to bottom. First of all, you have to mark up your 4-hour swing structure and your internal trend, right? So this is where you want to determine what's the overall trend direction right now on the higher time frame, what's the current objective of price. Okay, so if I just put up EURUSD right now, okay, so this is the daily time frame. I'll just start on the 4-hour time frame itself. And then this is where I just focus on what price is doing right now. I'm not caring about what price have done years ago, just right now. Okay, so you want to determine where price is at right now. Okay, so it's somewhere around here. And then you want to map out the 4-hour swing structure and the internal trend. The first thing you want to find is some form of break of structure, right? So I believe all of you guys have watched my videos, so you guys understand what is break of structure. Basically, if we look at this right now, price is creating lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, and lower highs, right? So this means that price is in a downtrend, right? Clearly, supply is in control of price right now. So break of structure is basically whenever price take out the last low, right? So in this case, it'll be this one right here. Okay, so all of this is my break of structure. Okay, so this is a bearish break of structure to the downside. Bearish break of structure to the downside right here. And then we got another bearish break of structure to the downside right here. Okay, so that's the first step. Very, very simple. Just map out your 4-hour swing structure. Okay, so over here, what happened was that the market started shifting bullish. How do we know that? Because this was that last lower high that broke structure. So we know that if price actually take out this last lower high, we got a market shift, which confirmed to us that the structure is shifting from bearish to bullish. And right now we can potentially get higher highs and higher lows, right? That's basically what bullish market structure looks like. So in this case, I'll mark up my market shift right here. Okay, since this is where price actually took out that last lower high. So now I've mapped out my 4-hour swing structure. It's really as simple as that. Now, I want to map out my 4-hour swing range as well, right? I want to know what's the swing range that I'm trading within. So in this case, I'll mark up my 4-hour swing low, right? This will be my swing low because this is the lowest point that led to the market shift itself. Right? You can see once again, it's all very simple and mechanical. There is no guesswork whatsoever. And then this will be my 4-hour swing high that we have up here. So this will be my 4-hour swing low. Okay, so now you can see we pretty much narrow our focus from, this so noisy distraction shit to like just this, right? Like this is all we are focusing on right now. What price is currently doing within this 4-hour range. Okay, so that's the 4-hour swing structure. And whatever that is within your 4-hour swing high and your 4-hour swing low is your internal structure, right? So you can see this is a swing low, this is a swing high. So everything in between is your internal structure. And you can see internal structure, what happened is that price is actually creating higher highs already. Right, so in this case, we can see that the internal structure is actually bullish right now, right? So this is where you can even go the extra step to mark up your internal structure here as well, right? So this will be your